This was fall of 2020. She was working remotely and had plenty of time to go anywhere. This girl flew in to see me from Oregon
Mm-hmm.
because I got it like that. And I'm flying back the same time from the Northeast where my family lives. I come back, I'm delayed by a day, and this girl shows up at my house, like with my roommates, and I'm like on the phone with my roommates. I'm like, you need to like take care of her. Luckily, I had one girl roommate, which let me put this out there: always live with girls if you can. Like, if you have a choice, always live with girls. It's easier, they're cleaner, they're nicer to hang around with all day.
I've had roommates for about 5 years. I've had three women that have been my roommates. One was quite disgustingly messy, but beyond that, I've been perfectly fine. So I would agree. Like having a woman roommate is kind of it's dope in regards to that.
Yeah. She stepped up and was like, I'm gonna make her my best friend. Um, so she like brings her into the fold. They like spend the day together. They have like a girls' day. They do shrooms. They get their nails done. They like go down to the river, that sort of shit. Um,
Shit,
and
and you were the roommate. God damn, this sounds like a whole date at this point.
well, she was there for a fucking day, bro. Like I was
I,
a whole day behind.
makes sense. Makes
Like
sense.
my flight was just fucking canceled. Like there was
But
nothing I could do.
you know how crazy it sounds to just do psychedelics with someone you just met on the off chance that the person you're supposed to see isn't there. You see how crazy that is, right?
No, that's actually one of the more tame things I could imagine.
I
Uh,
think it's because I'm black. All right, continue.
what, black people don't do shrooms? Black people do shrooms.
We do, but I'm not doing
I
shrooms.
did shrooms with black people for the first like
That's
4 times.
that's not the question. The question is doing shrooms with somebody I ain't never met. I gotta be comfortable with you
That's
to
fair.
do something that's a psychedelic. I gotta be in the space of comfort.
No, I'll do drugs with anybody. I just find it funny.
Continue with the story, Jack. Let's not even go there.
You don't have time to unpack all of that.
No, that's if we ever bring the group chat on to these reality shows.
Yeah, they so I'll finish the story.
Mm-hmm.
I finally am able to get there. I'm supposed to fly into Aspen, but I end up
Okay.
flying into Denver, and they can't get me to Aspen.
Mm.
Uh, it's a blizzard out. The girl is there. It's like spend the night or go, like spend the night in a hotel
Mm-hmm.
and just go in the morning, and they'll fly me in the morning. I, who will never miss an opportunity for Pootie Tang, got into rented a car and drove through a blizzard. Like I'm talking a blizzard where
Oh
I have to
God.
go 45 like the whole way, like the whole 3.5 hour drive, like when it's normal.
So it's not like an hour and a half because of a blizzard.
It's an extra now. No, now it's like 4 to 5 hours.
Jesus Christ. Wait, how bad was this blizzard?
It was fucking bro. There was already like 6 inches on the ground. And I have to go. I'm lucky like the pass and the tunnel didn't close on me because that happened like during these blizzards a lot out
Right.
here. I'm like, fuck it, we ball on making it, bro. Girl, I didn't. She had stayed in my place when I was in Mount Hood during the summers. I run their mobile program out there during the summer.
Yeah.
But we didn't hook up. It was all cool, it was all casual. I forgot why we didn't. She might have had a boyfriend at the time or something.
Sounds respectable. You know,
Yeah,
sounds like
I'm a nice boy, despite everybody's assumptions about me. I'm a very good boy.
You are, Jack.
And
It's
I
just
got
you're a good wild boy.
yeah,
You're a chaotic boy.
chaotic good.
Chaotic good. There we go.
And I just don't play with that. I don't play with
Right.
anybody who's in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
You don't need that juju.
No, yeah, exactly. And there's like plenty of women in the world. I don't want to intermingle with someone else who has found, if not love, at least a level of intimacy.
Right.
But they break up. She's a smoke show. Ass the size of a fucking ostrich.
I'm so happy I didn't drink water as you were saying that.
I was hoping you would spit that out.
Oh, that would have been an experience for the audio listeners. That
Yeah.
would have been a fucking visual for the video podcast. Oh my god.
I finally pull in my Forerunner that I rented where I couldn't figure out how the windshield wipers worked. So I had to just keep using the washer fluid thing throughout the whole drive.
Oh shit. Due to snow. You was just
Through the snow.
Wow.
Well, if it's windy, like during a blizzard, usually the snow will just like roll off.
There's so many things here, but I want you to finish the story before I even say anything. I
get there. She's chilling out with my roommate, her two friends. They're coming down off the shrooms. I go and change real quick. I threw on some jeans and my Captain America jacket. It's back there in that mess of a fucking closet. I was shredded at the time. I did no shirt underneath just because I'm comfortable and it's in my home, but also I'm shredded at the time.
You want to flex?
Yeah, sure. I wanted to know the weight was worth it.
Hey,
I still don't know entirely if we're hooking up at this point, though. I'm like pretty sure. I'm like, you're sleeping in my bed, in my room. Like, whatever you're comfortable with will do. But like,
yeah,
seems like the odds are ever in my favor.
We're always for, consent and respectability, but also if we're going, it feels like the vibes are leading this direction, so why not?
Right.
Of course.
We go upstairs. We shake the bed. Go 20 toes, heels to Jesus.
Horizontal tango.
I had a big like jacuzzi tub at the time. I filled that up. Fill that with bubbles, had some mirrors. We did some gnarly shit. We go to sleep. I wake up before her. And my biggest problem in life that I've worked on, and it's something we actually touched on last week, is if something will make me laugh, I will do it. Even if it's not going to make somebody else laugh. Like, to me, just making myself laugh is worth it.
It depends on what it is, but I want you to continue before I say anything.
Well, within reason.
Reason, of course. Nothing of uncomfort, but within reason.
Right. So she's asleep. I'm awake. I go make a quick change. I get back into bed. I start emailing some people because I had been away from work for a bit. And she wakes up and I am there dressed in a full pink bunny suit with the ears on top, the little white ears, and the pink hood pulled down in front of me. And in my head, I'm chanting, Jack, 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 Jack. You got him again, buddy.
Oh my God.
She does not laugh.
I'm not.
She is horrified. I can tell from this moment she wakes up that I've biffed this. She's like, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm trying to play it straight. I'm like, this will help the funny. Pretend it's not even there. She's like, why are you dressed that way? Bro, she thought I was a fucking furry. That's later. I thought that's where this was going. I'm no, I just thought it would be funny. No point was she this is funny. Throughout that whole day, throughout her whole 3-day trip there.
Wait, she was there for 3 days? She was there for 2 more days?
She was there for 2 more days. And it's awkward from then on, bro. It was, we never got back on the level after that night. That night was magical. It could have been because of the shrooms, but that night was magical, and then we never got on the level again.
I am fucking sweating under this sweatsuit right now. Bro,
I've fumbled so many baddies to me. By this point in my life, it means nothing.
Welcome to episode 2 of Wrestling with Romance, everybody. As you can see, we have the customary story by the lovely Jack Simon to start off the show.
Yeah.
Oh man, I am your other co-host, Kadeem Phillip, Life of Deem, if you will. Jack, let me just first say, I don't know about for you, but to me, the idea of waking up to somebody answering emails in a giant pink bunny suit
So fucking funny.
when I just did psychedelics and I don't know if I fully came down yet. It's fucking terrible. Because the thing is, she might not even know if she really came down after.
Oh, she's hallucinating me.
She might be like, what the fuck is going on? And you're just there like, what do you mean? Why was just sitting there with your feet?
Hopping my ass through. Follow me down the rabbit hole.
I have to ask, did you learn anything from this experience? Maybe.
That was a moment in my life where I was like, you can't just keep trying to make yourself laugh.
Yeah, you can't pop yourself. You
No,
can't
you
pop
can't.
yourself. Oh my
Jack
god.
cannot hold his sense of humor above everybody else's.
I mean, I've had some whiffs of some jokes where it's just like, ooh, the execution sounded better in my head.
Right.
And it's like, ooh.
That's like daily for me. This the physics. It was the like I had to take it off. Remember, like so I'm like outside the bed, like slowly, just in shame.
Yeah, I have to ask before we get into like just how we do it. On a level of like 1 to 10, with 10 being like I am totally in a different level of shame. How did you feel in that moment taking off that bunny suit? That laugh alone.
Probably like a 6. And I don't embarrass easily, obviously.
Oh no, I know. I know way too much. I've known you less than half a year, Jack. I've known you less than half a year. I know so much about you.
Embarrassment is a self-inflicted emotion. It's only can be like it's only if you put it upon yourself. It's usually like other people aren't usually embarrassed by you.
That's true. Only you can feel embarrassed. Only you can take on that feeling. So it's like, that's true. But in that moment, that definitely is
that broke through.
Ooh, yeah. That's a fair level. Man, how are you doing today? How are you doing? It's been has it been a week since we recorded? Has it been a week?
About a week.
Okay.
Yeah. Chilling. Had my first day of skiing today. I don't know if I mentioned this last time on the pod, but I'm a professional ski coach. I'm a program director for the Vail Ski Club.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good gig. A Basin just opened up, so I bought a ticket just so I could go skiing. And we're gonna go over there tomorrow with the group and coach them up and all that.
Nice. If you're watching this on the visuals, which you can look up Wrestling with Positivity, that's the page. But if you just look up Wrestling with Romance, the podcast will show up on YouTube. You will notice that Jack's face is distinctly a deep pink kind of red, similar to what you may think with sunburn, but it's just windburn. Wind was whooping his ass today.
Yeah, it gets real tan during the winter because I'm just out in the sun coaching so much. And I got my ski suspenders.
Hey, you know what's funny? You definitely said I will jump straight on the podcast.
Yeah, I got home. And I'll just live in my ski pants too, during the winter.
Are they cozy?
They're so comfortable.
Okay.
They're the most comfortable thing. And usually it's I don't really go out much, especially in the winter when I'm so exhausted. So I'm just in and out of my ski pants and my sweatpants. And if I have to work, I won't get out of my ski pants because my mind is still in work mode.
Understood.
Whereas if I'm in my sweatpants, it's a wrap.
It's totally different for me when I'm painting murals. When I'm painting murals, as soon as I close my door to my room, I'm stripping. All that paint clothes coming right the fuck off. You ever seen Bruce Almighty? When he prays and then it's just as simple as that. Because I have the boiler suit, the 1-zip boiler suit. So as soon as I walk through my room, it just drop everything.
That's a good painter look.
Yeah, honestly, it's my paint clothes. Like everybody just assumes I paint, or they'll just ask me, "What do you do?" And it's like,
No, I'll even if I'm like writing or
hmm
working on a film,
yeah,
I'll during the summer I'll get into my ski pants to work because like I don't is I mean obviously it's a weird artist thing, but like
yeah.
there's something in my head that like clicks of like being in ski pants. It's time to work. Like I've been a
Oh,
coach now for
yeah,
8 years. Like it's
yeah. When
most
I
of my
paint,
working life. Yeah.
even in home, I have paint clothes, so it's like it gets me in the mood. Like when I'm drawing and I'm painting, I'm wearing like paint colored like pajamas or something like that, where it's just like, oh, I just decided to paint at like 2 in the morning one day.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand, man.
How's you? You
Uh,
doing well?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling better. For those who didn't, like after I last recorded for the first episode, I had gotten sick pretty bad. Down, I was down for the count. I think me and Jack was in our lovely group watching Dynamite, and you can hear me cough every time I laugh. It sounded like my lung was about to fly out my mouth. Um, but beyond that, I'm good. I actually have a mural like I got picked to do in Harlem.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
Yeah, I'm starting it Saturday. Um, it pays me immediately when I'm done, so I'm trying to do it Saturday and Sunday because I could use the money.
Money's good.
And yes, I have commissions I got to start, and I'm chilling right now. Honestly, I might do another raffle through my Instagram. I'm just trying to figure out what to paint, honestly, and then I'll do a holiday raffle, and then I might open up for commissions if people want to do that. But I'm good, you know. Usually, I'm for those who don't know, I teach kids and I usually do murals at schools. I worked with a nonprofit. Right now is my slow season because it's cold out, so ain't no painting outside. It's quiet for that. So usually I don't work in the fall. So usually I don't work between October to January. So usually that space is like I gotta figure something out. And it's kind of hard, but that's also why we have this podcast here. That's why we can do this. We can start this and make this a daily habit going forward, a weekly habit.
Weekly.
Yeah, weekly. If we did this daily, I think me and you might just be like insane. But but man, what's on your heart with wrestling? What has wrestling put on you this week? Like what are you feeling about wrestling this week?
I've been thinking a lot about Hook, actually. Um,
Mm.
I'm a big hooker. Uh,
I hate you.
huge,
I hate you. I forgot that people call themselves hookers.
yeah, been a huge fan. Like I was kind of like I was for the memes for a while, and then when he debuted, I like became a real like fan. I was like, I thought then, and I think now, like
hmm
he could be like the next transcendent star in
Yeah.
professional wrestling that like hits the mainstream pop culture. Um,
hmm
he's young, he's cool, he's handsome. Like
Yeah.
any girl who I showed pro wrestling to, like they went gaga over Hook. Uh,
He has
he
the look. He has the look and the
he has a
aesthetic and the
look.
charisma.
Yes, he's incredibly creative.
Mhm.
Like the especially in his in like the original run, he was doing a new thing like almost every match.
Yeah.
Like just from like the way he walked in and like put his back to the other wrestler was a really interesting thing to do and a really new creative thing to do that told you everything about his character.
Right.
And it seems that he's been um just blockaded from progressing into new ideas, evolving his character. I mean, he had the FTW title 2 years ago. He has the FTW title now. He
Yeah.
had a brief little fling with Jungle Boy,
hmm
but that was like very much a situation of they put him together so they could pull him apart. Like they didn't
Yeah.
even like I don't know why they didn't have a like have them run at the tag team titles just to
Didn't they
progress
have a
them
title
a
match?
little. No, Jungle Boy had a title match against at Forbidden Door for the
Right.
IWGP championship. And that's when he turned on him.
I swore Hook and Jungle Boy had a tag title match.
No, because they've only lost once. Yeah, well, Hook's only lost once, and
Yeah,
It was to Jungle Boy. Do we have to call him
right.
Jack Barry now?
Um, I guess, but who cares? Who cares?
CM Perry is
Yeah.
he
You called him CM. Oh God.
they no, and now he's with the best friends, which if I couldn't think of a more moot, like creative has nothing for you move than like putting Hook with the best friends. Like it's not even like a fun opposites attract thing, like where it was with Danhausen and Hook.
Yeah.
And they actually had a storyline that brought them together. Like it was one of like my favorite moments in wrestling last year of Danhausen and Hook when they're in the ring and Hook punches him and
Right.
Danhausen gives them the little bag of potato chips with the ribbon around it. That was a good, like heartwarming story that led to a bunch of fun matches.
But
And
my thing is,
yeah,
wouldn't that mean like because Danhausen is with the best friends?
but Dan
He's oh,
hasn't been around for so long. It's not like that's connected.
but I mean Danhausen has always been one of the best, and also like yeah, he's been injured, so we haven't seen Danhausen because of the torn pec or whatever. And now he's coming back around. So I mean, they could find a way to retroactively make it, but I do get your point. I don't feel like it's creative doesn't have anything for you necessarily.
It's either creative doesn't have anything for you, or creative has a really bad fucking idea that you're going to be stuck with because we don't know what to do with you. Like if you can craft a good logical storyline around a budding superstar like Hook, who has
Mm-hmm.
everything you would want to see in a young wrestler, then like what the fuck are we doing out here? Like it's part of like the problem of not being able to craft storylines outside of titles. Like it's and Hook, his whole character from the beginning is I'm an enigma, I'm a loner, and I don't like people. But boy, am I bad as shit. And that's why you love me. When you stick 5 people around him, they're gonna soak up that charisma. They're gonna soak up that fascination that comes with Hook. And all
So
my best friends are nerds, and not in a bad way. Like that's their shit.
yeah,
Like I like the best friends. Like I'm not calling them nerds as an insult. That's just kind of their character,
yeah,
and it
pretty
doesn't make
much.
sense for like Hook to be there.
Well, here's what I would say in regards to certain things. I think you reach a point with Hook where you don't want him to hit the Wardlow thing, which is the thing with Hook is Hook then has to be able to take punishment in matches and sell and has to be near falls. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it has to, like the Jack Perry thing when he lost the belt to Jack Perry was kind of a shock because I didn't even assume he would lose the belt to Jack Perry at first, the FTW belt. I don't think a lot of people assumed that at first because Hook kind of was. There's a very thin line where you get to like undefeated kind of badasses, people where you do
Yeah.
have to now start to bridge them out. And I think the thing is, I don't mind, and especially because Hook, what we just made 2 years of him wrestling. Like he just has 2 years now as of September.
Yeah.
So it's like one, he's still learning. We now have to learn how to have him tell stories now differently in matches. And I don't think it's bad if it's like, oh, he's with yes, I know best friends, but if you really look at best friends, it's like, oh, these are all extreme veterans who know how to tell different stories, like a Trent, like an Orange, like they do know how to tell different stories, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I know how it can seem aesthetically. To me, I think the thing is, Hook is like the first fresh, super young talent. I mean, that they've had. Like, if you think about it, Hook came in 2021. That's post pandemic, like early first wrestling. Like this is his first wrestling experience. Like this is technically he's fresher than Jade, fresher than all these other people
Yeah.
because and it's like you do now have to like shape him because it's like okay we don't want it to be where it's just assume oh yeah Hook's gonna win. It's like no, we want to get people to even buy in for his losses, for his potential, because you do need that to get him elevated. but I do understand the frustration though. I think the thing is because I like the 4 team kind of like 4-way with the Guns, him and Orange, Young Bucks, and was that Lucha Bros at Wrestle Dream? That was him and Orange, the Gun Club, the Young Bucks for the number one contendership for the tag titles.
Yeah.
Like I like that because I did think it kind of showed you more of Hook. I do like him working with RVE in tag because I feel like in tags he's learning from other people and in there with veterans, which I don't think can hurt him at all. Being only 2 years in, you're in there with like the Bucks and Lucha Bros, RVD, like best place to learn on the job. Like you're in there with veterans that have more than 10 years experience that could show you different ways to, they could do different things. Now, I do believe I think after Full Gear, you have to start putting him in the story. I do believe that. I think because he's just missing one pay per view cycle. He would just miss the Full Gear pay per view cycle because he was in All In. He
I don't even
was.
think he needs to be at every pay per view. Like what you were saying before is, I agree. Sorry, did you want to go?
Oh no! To answer that, you don't want to not have a pay per view in New York, and you don't have Hook.
Oh fuck yeah, you're right. You're right.
You don't
Oh,
want
you're
to have
totally
a
right.
so you're gonna need Hook for World's End. Like you're gonna want to do that because you had him at Grand Slam. It makes no sense to not have him at World's End.
Yeah. No, you're
So
right.
that's why I say you do need to put him in the story going into World's End.
I agree with you what you were saying before. Is like he's still very fresh. He's very
Mm-hmm.
green. And you don't want the Wardlow thing of overexposing him, and every win streak has to end. And now you're caught in between a rock and a hard cock of, are you going to like overprotect him, or are you gonna let him wrestle?
I can't stand you. A rock and a hard cock, you bastard.
Or are you gonna let him wrestle and like have logical storylines? Like that FTW title right now is an albatross. Like they're because he can't lose. And so you
Yeah,
can't, it becomes they've booked themselves into a corner. And I think
yeah.
that's how you end up with really shitty ideas like hooking with the best friends.
I can definitely see that, but again, like because I did like the idea. Like to me, the thing is, I didn't understand. You know what? And maybe this could have changed because of injury, but I didn't understand the Bucks winning that tag match. But Moxie got hurt a week
Yep.
before, so it probably changed how they was going to use OC because Moxie got hurt like a week and a half before. Because to me, it would have made sense to just put Hook and OC kind of going for those tags, which would have been different. I could have seen playing out different because like that. But you do have to find something for him to do. And I think, especially with Collision, how Collision set up, Hook could benefit just kind of just being a Collision person. Or you can,
What does that
or like,
mean?
so there's like certain people we don't see on Dynamite. Like we
Yeah.
don't see Andrade on Dynamite. You don't see Ricky on Dynamite really. You don't see certain people. You don't see House of Black on Dynamite. You don't see any of these people on Dynamite. So it's like one, it kind of creates a like a attraction feel. Like I know I'm going to see Hook on Saturdays, and then you have like a thing that you can build with Hook. Or I think in this is something I've enjoyed, especially this week. Rampage was fucking amazing this week, but
Rampage is great this week.
I think I think one thing AEW used to do really great was like Rampage was somebody's show. It was the Adam Cole show for a little bit. It was the CM Punk show for a little bit. It was the Bryan Danielson show. Like just find different ways to just
Who's CM
showcase
Punk?
Hook. We're gonna save that for what's on my heart when I get a chance. I got a few things to say. But
I
yeah, we'll
yeah,
continue. Go ahead.
well, Rampage has been amazing lately.
It
They've really done a good job with that show,
really good.
like the past month.
Man, that Santana Ortiz, I love that man. Like I know there's friends of mine who listen to this podcast who love Santana Ortiz, the tag team, and one of them was just like, I couldn't watch it because it really broke my heart. Like it really hurt me because I love them as a tag team. But that as a street fight match was so good.
Oh, it was so bad. It was. I mean, so bad. Like so. Like
Yeah.
in like good bad.
To Kester Fletcher. Oh my God.
I just watched probably the best death match I've seen this year. Well, oh my God, why can't I remember it now? Hang on, I'm looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm checking it out. It's with this new promotion, Circle 6, who I've seen like making waves in the deathmatch scene.
Circle 6.
Circle 6. Like I've watched a bunch of their stuff now. It was with Akira and Bobby Beverly. Bobby Beverly and Akira.
Okay.
And Circle 6. Shout out them.
Mm-hmm.
Circle 6 has been really doing some really cool stuff with deathmatch wrestling. And here they did a match where they stripped away, like they did blood sport style with no ropes.
Yeah.
They littered there was no canvas. It was just the wood planks. And they did like shitty wood planks too that you could like step through. So like now you're getting sound effects and you're getting like, I think deathmatch transcends violence into art form when you get a greater when they're able to achieve a sense of danger, where it's like obviously with deathmatch that's the whole point. But when you're able to achieve a sense of danger and unpredictability, that like, oh, these guys really don't know what's gonna happen next, even though they probably and when you have like wood boards snapping underneath their feet, now you've changed like the entire concept of pro wrestling and what it's capable of achieving.
You kind of bring
a different realm.
You kind of bring a level of intensity to it, like almost like there's like a level of like there's a different level of like not danger. Well, I guess danger is it, because when I look at certain like I've said I'm not the deathmatch person. This is what we have Jack here for. There is a level of I have no clue what the fuck's about to go on, and I don't think mentally I could wrap my head around creating something like that. So to hear the floorboard, like the boards of the ring sound like they're about to snap, that brings me like, what happens when you drop somebody? Like there's no running back and forth. There's power drive somebody. What if their fucking head goes through the? It's like your head kind of you go into a different world of like, what's the possibilities?
Yeah, what can happen next? And so many death matches are just spot fest.
Yeah,
like just working towards like the next like thing that's gonna happen, the next set piece they're gonna go through.
Right.
And we talk, wrestling is suspending your disbelief, and can they get you to like, twitch your shoulder when their hand is coming down for a 3 count? Are you able to buy into it on that level? And that's really hard with deathmatch wrestling, because you're so caught up in the violence, and because because of the whole spot fest scene of it all. But like this one had me from the beginning. If it wasn't for like Akira caught an arm bar, like a good arm bar in the first 5 minutes. And I like forgot, like I had seen the YouTube run, and I forgot for a minute that I forgot for a minute, like this is going on for another 20 minutes longer.
Yeah.
It was and then they go on, and they do the light tubes thing. They have they had a box of like an unopened box of light tubes, which I thought was a nice touch.
Like just fresh out the box, just busting light tubes.
No, like they have the box and they open the box right there.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Yeah. And I'm going to save this for the next episode. Well, this is definitely going to be something around the next episode. I want you to give me 3 death matches that you can find for me to watch and for me to review.
That'd be so much fun for me.
So for episode 3, we'll record this sometime next week. So I have a week to watch. three matches that you pick, three death matches you think would be like those are like these are my favorite death matches.
Yeah. Can we establish like the parameters of this before we move on to what's in your heart?
Nothing of like nothing too like all right, like look, gore like I like horror movies, but when things get a little too gory, it's a little too much for me. Like I gotta tap out.
Yeah. But I mean, like, are we counting like John Moxley, AEW, like
Yeah.
unsanctioned matches?
I mean, I've seen all his like all his AEW unsanctioned matches. Yes, I've only watched one of his GCW matches.
Okay.
So anything GCW, anything. You said Circle Six. I want to make sure I got the name right.
Circle Six.
Circle Six. Wherever, if it's Nick Gage, whatever, Akira, whatever you want. I've given you free range here to pick, and it's recorded here. And I can never say you know. I told you not to do this. No, go straight ahead, and I will review them on the next episode.
No one man should have all this power.
I'm very scared of the fact I just gave you all this power.
I mean, have you ever watched the Big Japan Wrestling stuff?
No.
Oh, have you heard of it?
Yes.
It's Banana Land.
I've definitely heard of like I've heard of like the barbed wire ropes type stuff and things of that nature and the exploding death match. Like I've seen clips. I've never watched a full match.
I mean, they have this dude. I think it's Abdullah and
the Butcher.
Abdullah the Butcher. No.
Oh.
That's classic shit. Which I'm not knocking. It's just a different motherfucker.
My family used to watch that. That's how I knew about him. Like my family used to be like, you want to see real violence? And I was just like,
Was your family pro wrestling fans?
Yeah, that's how I got started.
Oh, see, mine wasn't. Like my dad always took me because he's the coolest man to ever live. We were there when John Cena threw the edge. Into the edge.
The edge.
Yeah.
You told me that. Okay. So I'll explain this. You might not understand it now, so I have to give context. Anyone who's lived in New York will understand this. There used to be a black box, a black cable box, which if you knew the right people would get you all the illegal channels that you ever needed.
Of course.
Right. So my aunt and them used to be able to get the legal pay-per-views. So that's how we used to watch pay-per-views. We used to gather, like get KFC and gather at one person's house and watch it. So that's why I say Heatwave 97 is my first pay-per-view, because they had it, they got food. They was talking about the Dudleys and Taz and stuff. I didn't know who the hell they was talking about. So that King of the Ring, like Monday Night Raw, we used to gather at my aunt's house and watch Raw. We used to go from one room had WCW, one room had Raw.
It's the blackest shit I've ever heard.
That was our thing. That was our thing.
Like, yeah, we broke into the cable black box. We invited the neighborhood over, had a bucket of KFC.
I want you to know, government, if you see this, this is more than 20 years ago. I was a child. I had nothing to do with this.
This is all allegedly, also.
All allegedly.
Allegedly.
And some of these people who...
Marrow.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Just sprinkle it. But yeah, my family's a wrestling family. But
yeah.
I'm the only one that still is active as a fan.
I gotcha. You ever watch Abdullah Kobayashi?
No, my uncle had a burnt DVD version of it and tried to show me it. I just seen whatever I just remember walking in and there was just so much blood. And I was just like,
glass tubes. Like he'll start the match and just go nom 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 nom.
Yeah, I said, no, I'm good. I'm good. Not for me. I am straight here, buddy. I'm straight here, buddy.
I'm all good on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably outside of, FMW is like probably the deathmatch legend of Japan. He's the one I got in mind. And he wrestles in Big Japan Wrestling a lot.
Gotcha.
Back. But yeah, Big Japan Wrestling is like the ones who do like the scorpion cage in the middle of the scorpion tank or the piranha tank in the middle of the ring.
What the fuck?
Yeah. No, they do crazy shit, bro.
All right, look. You got through this week. 3. Yeah.
All right, give me what's in your heart.
I got a few things. I'm going to touch on like three real quick. One, um, I am so happy with so much good in ring fucking action from last Sunday when we recorded till now. I watched Bound for Glory from Impact. Fucking amazing. Um, Man, I really did love that tag match, the Rascals versus ABC. That's a really good tag match. Just high fly. I like spot foo, as Righteous Red says of Grab City. I love spot foo. I love just spots upon spots of just spot shit happening. And that match was some tag team spot foo. And then I got the ultimate spot foo. Will Ospreay and Mike Bailey was fucking incredible. I love that match. There is no way anyone can tell me anybody's having a better year than Will Ospreay. I just don't see it.
I mean, he's about to command the biggest contract in wrestling outside of Roman.
If you look at it this year, the two matches with Kenny, Okada G1, Naito G1. I forget the other Japanese dude, the younger Japanese dude who just really burst onto the scene this year, but I'm gonna count him. Excuse me for not knowing his name. Zack Sabre Jr.
Showed
He
up?
was at. Is it Shota? No, it's like you. No, he's like
is it the
really.
Noah guy?
No. He had a match against Sonata, and I want to say Dominion for the belt, either Dominion or Dotaku. I forgot his name.
Did you say Del Taco?
Dotaku or Dotaku. With I might have pronounced it wrong. Hopefully, I didn't say Del Taco. Hopefully, I didn't say. But he had that match. He had Zack Sabre Jr. He had All In. Like and then the Mike Bailey match is fantastic. Oh my God! There's a spot. You know, Mike Bailey sometimes he'll does like the tornado kicks where he goes from one corner and he'll kind of like spin into kicks.
Yeah,
He did the first spin into a hidden blade just coming out of fucking nowhere, and it looked. They had a kick spot where I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like it's amazing. Josh Alexander, Alex Shelley was great. I really hope Alex Shelley's not hurt that bad because that would suck for Impact right now. He did get hurt, TNA, but you know they're technically not TNA till January.
back, baby.
They're not till January. They're still Impact right now.
Right, tits and ass is back.
I found
That's what I
out.
want to hear.
I found out
Tits
that was
and
like
ass
illegal.
in the mainstream. All hail tits and ass.
Oh, Lord.
Tits and ass.
I could tell you grew up in the Trish Stratus Albert test days. Jesus Christ. But
so ridiculous to me that somebody ever named a wrestling promotion TNA.
First of all, TNA, after you had the testing Albert and Trish thing, was bad. Okay, because that's what they kind of made it that total nonstop action, I guess. But I found out that whole thing was like a legal thing. That was interesting. I didn't know that was the reason why they couldn't use TNA. It was like from when Billy Corgan was like getting the company, they couldn't use TNA technically. It's a whole bunch of things we'll get into another time. But and you watch GCW, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So do you know the kid Leon Slater?
Yeah.
He just got offered a contract from Impact while they was recording in the UK recently this past week. So I'm happy to see that because that kid, he got a future because that Swanton 450 shit looks nuts. But I seen him and Will Ospreay at Rev Pro. Like I seen the video of it. He's good. Then he's only 19. And like that's really dope. So that's one thing. Okay. Here's another thing. We kind of referred to this person because you said CM Perry. And I haven't really talked about this with too many people, so I guess we could talk about it here. About
do you have the footage of him attacking Tony Khan?
No.
Damn
if
it.
I did,
Damn it.
It would be in the group chat and only in the group chat. It would be in the group chat. I would encrypt it so no one else can.
It can't be sent out anywhere. TNT ain't getting their hands on this shit.
Hell no. Not without a tweet
of like, we're one Vince McMahon appearance away and Vince McMahon at NXT appearance away from Tony Khan leaking the to CM Punk Wimbledon footage or Wembley
Man.
footage. Excuse me, it's just very.
So I am a CM Punk fan. I don't mix any words about that, but I'm not a CM Punk apologist. I think there's a difference. I think there's too many people who try to be CM Punk apologists, and to be 100% honest, I can't be an apologist for a man 12 years older than me. I can't. I just can't.
Can't be an
And
apologist for a man who has gray hair.
that's just that, but you should know better. You're a professional. You've been doing this for many years. I am one of the people who I don't think I'm on the minority here. I don't know where I am. I don't have interest in seeing him go to WWE. Now, I think I've hinted at this in the group chat that I don't. I just never. I said it's just too much to say in a text. But I have my reasons why I don't. Mainly, I never like. I love CM Punk from watching him in my time of like, I saw him I saw his ROH stuff. I saw him mainly through ECW, whatever the fuck that became of, ECW and WWE. But I can't lie and say after seeing him all that time, then seeing his WWE run, then seeing him in AEW, CM Punk is handcuffed when he is in WWE. He is not the same CM Punk from what it feels from a perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like as a
Yeah,
fan,
but
I
like
don't feel.
let's keep it 100 in two areas.
Mhm.
One, even a handcuffs. Well, that's three actually. One, even a handcuffed CM Punk is better than 98% of wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, of course. I'm
And
not questioning
I
that.
like you, like I'm probably less of a CM Punk fan than you do, but like we
Yeah,
do have to keep it a buck. Two, um, he was able to achieve like you can. I'm saying you can't buy totally into his handcuff thing because he did have the pipe bomb. He did have incredible matches. He did have very violent, realistic, non WWE style matches.
of
And
course.
three, we're now sorry.
Oh no, I said of course. You're right.
And three, we are now living in Triple H's WWE,
That's
which
where my
is
next
all
point
about
goes.
enabling the wrestler and the individual. Go.
I think, and my whole thing about the CM Punk run, the genuine, like the most genuine, like he loves wrestling feel to me, kind of died the night he won the title.
The
Because
AEW title for the
yeah,
first time? Okay.
because from there it just becomes a very bitter roller coaster ride. Because that I remember that night. I remember I was next to my girl. I'm not gonna lie, I was teary eyed because it was like, yo,
Good. That's how wrestling should be.
I've been waiting on this for 7-8 years, and I just remember the image of him holding the title, damn near about to cry in the fucking ring. And that is like the moment I'm just like, this is what yes, like I love this. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it was a moment for me as a fan. But I feel like anything right now, especially how things ended with AEW, because I know how malicious of a fucking like I love CM Punk. One of my friends gave me this best analogy. CM Punk is that person that's really cool that you really enjoy being around, but when you bring him around other people, he's an asshole, and you can't explain why he's an asshole, and you're like, I don't know why he's like this. He's never really like this. I'm sorry.
But
And
it's
you
like
kind of
he
have
is like this. He's just your asshole.
right, and it's just like, let's be real here. Him going to WWE is just spite. It's just pettiness and spite. I don't feel like it's him up until he tore his tricep at All In last year. He was still shitting on WWE. Even when he had the broken foot. He was at Comic-Con still shitting on WWE. So to me, it's just the fact of like, I don't like them, so I'm gonna join you. And the third part is I feel like the fan in me of him is slowly dying. And it hurts.
Yeah.
And it hurts in a different way. And like it's just like it's like I never wanted them to be right about you. And every time I see that fucking Triple H fucking promo pop up, or that the damn John Cena promo
You
pop up,
want you want change as long as it benefits CM Punk.
I don't want it to be real. But sometimes I'm just like, they were right, weren't they? I like every time I think about him, the Eddie promo plays when Eddie just ran him down in that ring, and the Eddie promo plays. Just thinking about the fucking
You,
Triple H and
you
John
know
Cena
their history,
promos,
right?
of course.
Like
So
of
it's just like,
like CM Punk calling him fat and shit.
mm-hmm. And it just
That's
feels
very
like,
real.
and the next part of me is like, while WWE might be better at keeping stuff like that hidden, you can't convince me he's not going to get into it with somebody. He has more people that he has past problems with in WWE. Like, he's had issues with Kevin Owens. He's had issues with AJ Styles. He's had issues with Seth Rollins. He's had issues with Triple H. They're all there. The fucking doctor that sued him still works for WWE on the medical staff.
Yeah, but they, Colt Cabana and him were, well, I guess that didn't work out either. So I was
So
there
it's
that
like,
night. Yeah, go.
no, what you was there what night?
I was there that night. He won the title. I didn't want him to win. I wanted Hangman to win.
I
I thought
I
it
was
would. One, because I'm a huge Hangman fan, and two,
yeah.
I just thought it was like the best thing that could happen. I was like, I'm more interested in the continuous reign of Hangman than CM Punk holding the title.
I can understand, but like I was just I'm cool with either outcome. Like,
Yeah,
that was me. I'm cool with either outcome. But it's just the fact of like I can see it going wrong in WWE too. Like, like I like could I have seen it in AEW? I was like, maybe it's just the rose tinted glasses, and then when the Hangman stuff started, I was just like, oh no, they're breaking. Like, and then but it's like now that I can see it, I'm like, yes, I can see it going left in WWE. Because the thing about him is, the thing that we love about CM Punk is he's not going to hold his fucking tongue. So
no,
he's going to say something. And I'm like, I don't want you to then go to WWE and fuck it up. Like, I kind of just want you to just go chill for a year. Like, I tell people all the time, because people's like, oh, what if he comes back in Survivor Series? And that's why it's on my heart, because Survivor Series is coming up. I'm like, I would prefer it. We don't see Punk till like Raw after Mania if he's going to WWE. I want him to kind of cool off completely. Like, because to me, also going into Mania and Rumble season, that can hijack some shit.
if CM Punk came back at Survivor Series and hijacked the show and captured the fans' hearts again, and then turned the main event of WrestleMania into Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, it is the single funniest fucking thing that's ever happened in history of wrestling.
I
And then
don't think.
CM Punk wins. Oh my goodness. I would never shut the fuck up about it. It would be objectively more hilarious than a Chris Rock set. It's watching Cody Rhodes, like, he would fall down the ramp on his river of tears. He would just slip and slide. That's you leave because Cody Rhodes had problems with him too, or at least he had problems with where CM Punk was being put.
It seems that way to me. It's never been confirmed, but
I
because
don't.
Cody's always gonna play it political. He's always gonna play the political answer.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that Cody Rhodes left shortly after CM Punk joined.
I don't
I
think it's a
don't
coincidence.
think it's the main reason. And let's remember, everybody, disclaimer: we are not journalists.
Hell no, I'm a fan.
It's a
I'm
fan
a fan.
connecting some dots over Cody openly being upset about his place in the card and what he's capable of doing in AEW, and CM Punk existing, and CM Punk like considering himself leader of the locker room, which Cody Rhodes didn't like when they were in WWE.
Have you ever noticed that the last promo Cody cuts? how it kind of sounds like he is taking the shot at CM Punk.
No, what's the line?
When he talks about all the things that Punk had said in the pipe bomb, and he said that man didn't do it, I did. I'm the person, and like if you really listen to it, it's like he is venting that frustration of I'm the person who did these. I'm the person who went to the ROHs, the New Japans. I'm the person who went to these places and left because I was so like he pretty much says like, yes, this man talked about all that because he came out right after Punk. Like his promo is right after a Punk match. If you go back and watch that show or a Punk segment,
Yeah.
and then he cuts that promo, and then it's just like, oh shit! Like it to me, it always sounded like I thought like, oh, Cody's staying because they're probably gonna do a Cody Punk feud because the way that promo sounds like you could set up a Cody Punk feud, and then it was just like, oh, wait, and this is just me, my own personal speculation. But if you listen to that, the thought that maybe he wasn't happy with Punk and where Punk was placed, and then you go back and listen to that promo, you can maybe hear some stuff where it just sounds like he found a way to kind of explain that.
Yeah. And
But yeah,
knowing who Cody Rhodes is, that would be the
After.
smartest way to go about it from
Mm-hmm.
all aspects, whether in kayfabe or not. And Cody Rhodes is a master at that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And has a super cool neck tattoo, which everybody still won't admit is awesome. It's so cool. And I don't like people aren't like gnarly enough to like respect to understand that. They're not cool enough. They don't get it.
You're not gonna get me to say my take on this fucking podcast.
It's so cool.
You're not gonna get me to say my take on that neck
What's
tattoo
your
on this
take?
fucking podcast. Nope. Anyway, but back to the things on my heart. Back to the things on my heart.
I definitely don't know it. Like this is where
I definitely said it all in the chat. You might have just not heard it on the Zoom, but I definitely said it. I definitely said it. But that's one. And then the last thing on my heart is, especially after watching Collision, we gotta put respect on MJF's title reign. Like I'm very much tired.
I actually thought about it this week. And I want to amend my previous take.
Thank you.
My options were either MJF has to take some blame here, or the promotion that is my favorite promotion of wrestling is has been doing even more atrocious than I care to admit.
I don't think either are that. I think there's two things. People have said like, he did the main event Double or Nothing. I was like, y'all know Kenny did main event it when he had the belt, and Mox did the main event it when he had the belt.
That happens.
Like, but it was Stadium Stampede, Anarchy in the Arena. Those had main evented. Well,
even
when
the
it was
first AEW World Title in AEW didn't main event. It was the unsanctioned match between Mox and Omega.
Right. So it's like it's been that placement. I think, and here's my thing. If we're lining up champions in totality of AEW, maybe a hot take. Like, I don't think it's a hot take. I do have Jericho. I mean, do we count Punk? I don't count Punk.
For what?
Like, as a champion. Like, can we count Punk?
I would count him. I would also understand not counting him.
Okay, if we're counting Punk, he's at the bottom. Because he really only had one match, one feud. It's Mox. Because he got hurt. So Punk is at the bottom. And again, that hurts me as a Punk fan, but I have to admit it. You got hurt.
Oh yeah, he's definitely at the bottom.
Jericho, I have at the lower tier. Because Jericho only had he had Darby, he had Scorpio Sky, Cody, and then lost it to Mox.
He also had that great 10-minute draw with Jungle Boy.
What was that for the title?
It wasn't for the title, but I really loved that match, and so I wanted that.
Right. Included. So we have Punk, Jericho. I'm putting Hangman possibly here because I don't think Hangman had a bad reign. I do think the issue is where Kenny and Mox was. It's just different.
No, I
because
understand.
Mox had to carry that through an unpredictable, tough. No one saw a global pandemic shutting shit
Yeah,
down
no,
two
I'm
weeks
with you.
after your title reign, and then
There's not like ranking Hangman third or fourth behind Omega, Mox, MJF. Like, isn't such a terrible thing. I think it just goes to show how good the world title reigns have been in
right
AEW.
now, here's where it gets a little murky. I
Yep.
kind of might, by the end of this, put MJF second.
Wait, so Mox is third, MJF is second, Omega is one?
No, I have Omega third.
Oh, and so Mox is one.
Mox is one,
I see.
MJF second. Because if we looking at MJF's right, MJF's worst title match is gonna end up being Hiroshi Tanahashi. And to be 100% honest, he can't even fucking bend his knees.
They should just
There's
let him
not.
take a nap. I wish they would just let
Listen,
him take a nap.
I love Tanahashi. I love him. I love the ace. Guess what? It is time for Old Yeller to go behind the ball. It is time to let him go. It
Why
is
did you have to
time
use that metaphor?
Cause it's just the truth. It's just time. It's just time, bro. He can't like his matches. His matches upset me, and it don't upset me because they're bad. It just upset me because, bro, you just ain't it no more. It's just you ain't it no more.
Yeah. And like it's hard to forget about the prestige of wrestling Tanahashi because it
Yeah,
wasn't that long ago he was still putting on bangers. Like him
I want to
and
say in the last year it like
the
deteriorated
heels really came off the wagon.
because he looked good against Mox at the first Forbidden Door. He
Yeah.
didn't look bad,
No, I don't know what happened, but it looks like he sustained another injury or like
and it,
something happened with his knee that tweaked and just hasn't been the same since.
bro. When Swerve and MJF on back-to-back weeks got to kind of drag you through matches, that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. For
But
sure.
if we're looking at MJF's type full reign, we have him and Ricky, him and Danielson. We have him, Darby, Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara. Tanahashi's yeah. Tanahashi. We have him and Adam Cole, Samoa Joe, Kenny Omega, with Jay White on the damn docket. I can't question I can't question it. Like if you don't enjoy certain aspects of it, that's fine. That's for everybody's entertainment taste. That everybody's entertainment taste is gonna vary. But I can't act like honestly, up until Adam Cole got hurt, everything with him and Adam Cole was working and was getting over with fans. We can't question that. Like All In, the ending is
My
the
argument was
fans.
always at like what cost? Like, yeah, the fans are shouting or like chanting tofu, but that's not exactly
See, but
endearing.
that's
And I'm
before
not
All In. That's that's after All In. I said after Adam Cole got hurt. I definitely said that.
okay. Right. You're right.
That's because that Samoa Joe is when he got hurt. The match with Samoa Joe. So while you may not like this booking of the Jay White thing, and I think it could be way stronger, but at the same
I mean,
point,
Jay White holding onto that title for like a month now makes him seem like the biggest geek ever.
when they said it just turned 3 weeks on Collision, I was like, that was only 3 weeks ago.
Only three. Damn. Feels like longer.
It feels longer, but it's only been 3 weeks where I'm just like, I thought it was, and then it was like they broke it down. And I'm like, holy shit, that really isn't that long ago.
Well, it's because we get 3 shows a week now.
Yeah,
Like when Brody Lee did it to Mox, there was just one show. And even then, there was like security that had to like separate them before the match. Like it was a
yeah,
very strong of like Mox is gonna kill him because Brody Lee is mocking him by walking around this title and like switching
yeah.
it and walking around with it on Collision and Dynamite, just flaunting it.
Mm-hmm.
And MJF has tried weekly like once to get it back.
No, he did it this week too.
No, yeah, but that was like this like
He's
kind
done it
of
at least 2-3 times because he did it last week. He did it the week before him and Juice had the match. He did it that week while Juice was having in the Battle Royale. Then he did it this week. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just being on point with it. But for overall totality, this has been a really good reign for somebody who's, if you really also look at it, outside of him and Hangman, are the only people where this is their first championship reigns ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he's better. He's had a better reign than Hangman. If I were to do the rankings,
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing Punk at 5 or like not
Unfortunately.
listed or like whatever you're going to do with
Yeah.
that. Jericho at the bottom. I'm putting Omega right above Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Mox. No, I'll go See, now I'm stuck. No, I'm going to go Mox above Omega. Hangman above Mox, and then MJF is the best.
And honestly, I'm very interested on what the next 2 months are going to look like because they set it up where it's just like, yo, he is public enemy number one.
Yep.
And I'm very interested on where that's going to go. But to me, there's certain aspects of other reigns that are underrated. Like maybe call me a sucker, but I love the Kenny belt collector. Kind of going to Impact.
I really like it too. This is not our knock on any of these title reigns. Like I think they're all above average. I think they were all very fun and entertaining to watch. I think regularly the world title has been the best part of AEW.
I think I think I love Swerve Hangman. I love everything Swerve Hangman right now. They're batting 1,000 for me. Listen, I'm a Spawn fan, so Abaddon won me over coming out in the full Spawn costume on Collision. I was just like, I don't give a fuck what they do this match. It works. It just works.
I'm an Abaddon fan too,
but when I seen Todd McFarlane also give her the thumbs up on Twitter, I was like, this is the shit I like.
I'm an Abaddon fan as well. It's more of an issue of Abaddon wrestles a Halloween match and then vanishes, and they don't use them for a year.
I will say, so like I've always been iffy on Abaddon because I've just never been crazy about her in ring. And the last 2 matches, I was like, oh wow, she feels like she's gotten better. And I was just like, I like this.
They them.
They sorry.
The pronouns.
I was not aware of the pronouns. I'm sorry. I think I overlooked you saying it. My bad. But I was like, they got better. I really like this. I like them subtly hinting at the Sky Blue joining Julia things over the Rampage, and even her and Willow. I like the whole Willow is like, it takes a lot for me to fight. Like Willow's acknowledging that the miss affects with people, but she's like, I'm fighting it because I want to be the good person. I like that. This stuff, different stuff, but I do think the World Championship stuff has been the best. And we're starting to hit the home run stretch of the booking, so I'm very interested on where stuff is going to go. Yeah. But yeah, that's all that's on my heart, man.
Can you still consider Willow underrated?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, how do you classify something as underrated? Let me ask that. Like, how in today's wrestling landscape, how do we, determine what's underrated?
I mean, it's impossible because, somebody says somebody is underrated, or, somebody on the internet says somebody's underrated, and all of a sudden it's, spread. And everyone's like, yeah, they're so underrated. ... deserves a title reign. But, like, when you're calling, like, Claudio, or I guess formerly known as Cesaro, underrated, and everybody agrees with you, and then for, like, 6 months, they're like, give Cesaro a title. It's like, all right, then they're not underrated anymore.
Right.
It's like when people were calling Miguel, the R&B singer, underrated, and he was singing at the fucking Grammys. What are we doing here? It's like, just because he's not selling, he doesn't have 10 billion streams doesn't mean he's underrated. He's just doesn't have as much clout as Drake. Sorry, that's just how it is. Tethering it back to wrestling, what comes to my mind when it comes to underrated, I think of a dude like Darius Carter, who gets no mainstream play, who gets no internet love, and is, to me, one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
He is. I have never seen a Darius Carter match which I didn't thoroughly enjoy and was not thoroughly impressed by.
Yeah.
He's good on his promos. I don't know about on the mic. It's impossible. Really, what I've learned going from indie to watching people go from indie to television is you never know how those like promos, like where you're just looking into a camera and like talking your
Mm-hmm.
shit, is going to translate to like on the mic in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
All that aside, like a guy like Darius Carter doesn't even get sign a TV deal play. When I don't hear anybody on the interwebs talk about a guy,
Yeah.
and I understand this is a like a contrarian hipster take. But like once everybody's heard about it, they're not underrated anymore.
Yeah.
And Darius Carter isn't talked about at all. So that to me is why he is underrated.
You know, to kind of jump off that point, like the music point, right? I am a kid that I'm a person who grew up during the blog era. You know, hip hop blog era, Two Dope Boys on Smash, like that type of time of like finding new music.
Yeah.
And you know, you fall in love with what?
No, I was just saying yes.
Oh, I thought you said damn. I was about to say what that age myself.
No.
But no, it's like, you know, you find somebody like say you might find like a group like, let's say, Flatbush Zombies. That's a group I love, from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
And you might get into them and you might say they're underrated because they're underground, but their tours is sold out. Are they
Right.
really underrated? It's just you.
And they're
I think
playing a
some people,
panorama and shit.
right, like they're playing at Coachella. I think sometimes what people mix up is recognition and underrated. Like those things don't always go hand in hand. Like you can be getting recognition and people just don't know you. That doesn't really make you underrated. That just might mean you don't have a machine behind you. That's completely two different things. Um, Darius Carter is a perfect example of that. I think, like, I got into Darius Carter like in the last year. And I was just like, holy shit, how have I not heard about this dude before? And it just blew my fucking mind.
Right. Like even you, who's a massive wrestling fan, like having not come across a Darius Carter
Yeah.
is bonkers.
You know what it is? I had to get into the New York indie scene. I had to start paying attention to stuff that was happening around the indies in New York. Like I just wasn't next month in December, I'm going to my first House of Glory show.
Oh, they're fun
And
shows.
Swerve and Mike Bailey's on the card, and I was like, "That's all I need to see."
They're like one of the last people who will book Loki.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
better or for
def.
worse.
Anyway, like there's so many things I can say there. I'm just like,
About Loki,
this not.
distance, and the continuous usage of him.
Everybody deserves a chance to chase their dream. Everybody deserves a chance to chase their dream.
Well, like I guess you could also fold that into this argument. I understand if you don't want to
Yeah,
talk too much about Loki, but like in the history of wrestling, especially like indie wrestling,
yeah.
Loki carried early indie wrestling.
Oh,
Ring of Honor, like 2003, Loki was the guy.
he's carried a lot of just local New York indie. He's carried New York indie. Like I'll never ever shit on Loki for what he's done for Ring of Honor, New York indie stuff, any of that. Now, his views and my views don't usually line up perfectly. But actually, that's me and probably a lot of wrestlers. So we just won't touch on that. But my thing is, underrated is a word that I think is overused, right?
For sure.
Like, but I also think it depends on the context, right? So I'm like, to me, example would be this week, right? I watched SmackDown this week. Rare, sometimes I actually sit and pay attention to the WWE show. Sometimes, like,
Yeah.
I may sit and watch an NXT because it's like the shorter, or I may pay attention to SmackDown depending. But like this week, I saw they had Dragon Lee and they had Cedric Alexander on SmackDown, and I was shocked because I can't tell you the last time I seen the Cedric Alexander match on actual WWE TV that wasn't like main event or some shit.
Yeah, I can't believe he survived the cuts.
And mind you, I've loved Cedric since he was chunky Cedric in ROH, but he was heavy, and I was just like, this dude is fucking awesome. I remember him and Okada, and I want to say 2015, fucking great match, and I'm like, yo, this dude is great. And I remember the Cruiserweight Classic, him and Ibushi, still one of my favorite fucking matches to just go back and look at. And I was like, yo, I don't understand why I don't get this guy more TV time. Why they don't give this guy TV time? They had him on the Hurt Business, and then once he wasn't in the Hurt Business, so much time has passed. He has dreadlocks, long dreadlocks, and I'm very confused. And I'm like, I know it takes time to grow that, so I know that much time has like people. If you watching this on YouTube, you can see I have a bun on my head of dreadlocks. I know by his length of hair, it took a long fucking time to grow that, and I'm just like,
I think that the Hurt Business was like the perfect role for him.
it was.
And like without that, because like he's always going to be like he's a good hand. He's one of those wrestlers. He's a mechanic.
Oh yeah.
To use the infighter term, he's a mechanic. He's going to come in. He's going to have a good match with anybody. He's going to have a great match with a really good wrestler, and they're going to make the other person look good.
Right.
But you can't like push him, or you can't like make a program around him.
Here's what I would say. You have all these people going to NXT to do stuff. He can go to NXT. He never got an NXT run.
I don't see anywhere in NXT he could like fit in and thrive.
North America. That North American title or that Heritage Cup. I could see him in the Heritage Cup with
I could see him, like round 2 Heritage Cup.
I could see him in there. I could see him with North America. I could see him having that, but also we gotta remember Hurt Business is going on 3 years of not being together. I don't know what he's capable of.
People still talk about that. That was truly one of the great missed opportunities in WWE's recent history.
But when I seen his match with Dragon Lee, I was like, thank fucking God. Because I was like, and then I saw tweets like people's like, damn, who knew Cedric Alexander? I was like, because he doesn't get a fucking time to fucking show what he can do. Like, you give certain people like that, to me is underrated in a WWE way. I think there are other people who can show they're underrated in different spots in wrestling, but I'm not gonna look at certain people like I can't really say anybody's underrated when I look at Impact. I don't think y'all have many underrated people because all the people that are really good shine through.
Cedric Alexander is a good example of like kind of the dichotomy of underrated. Because for me, like I think people have underrated him as like a wrestler. In the same way people like had underrated Dolph Ziggler as a wrestler. But just sticking with Cedric Alexander, as like I don't think people realize how good he is because he hasn't gotten TV time and programs aren't built around him. But in the realm and the context of WWE, I think he's exactly like where he should be.
See, like, but this is situational based.
Right. Like he's that level of talent, like within the roster of WWE, which is incredible. Remember, we're living in a time where top to bottom, these are the best wrestling rosters ever. Like there's nobody ahead of him who I would slot Cedric Alexander into their spot.
You want me to be honest and somebody where I'm just like, I don't want to see why do I see more of his matches than other matches? And I get it. People are into him for a kind of like, we like to boo him to boo him.
Who's
but
this?
If you're going to make me watch a motherfucking Dom Mysterio
there it is.
match, but I can't see Cedric motherfucking Alexander, I don't give a flying fuck who's his dad. I don't give a flying fuck what he can do. He has the worst 619 I've ever fucking seen. His fucking moves are annoying. His 3 amigos are the worst fucking suplexes I've ever fucking seen. And I tell you right now, if you could tell me, like, if you're going to tell me, I could watch Dom Mysterio on TV more than I could watch Cedric Alexander. It don't make sense. It don't make sense to me. Like, I get the coolness to boo him. But to me, that more feels like a novelty more than it actually feels like him as a character.
If it was a novelty, it would have worn off by now.
I think the novelty is just the fact also WWE fans just go with shit.
That's not true. WWE fans are very spiteful. If they decided
that it's hot right now. Shit's hot right now. They haven't had a moment for shit to be hot like this in a minute. So I feel like they're just going with the fact that, oh, we love to boo him. Because to be honest...
Well, maybe they just love to boo him because within the context of the show, it makes fucking sense to boo him.
Right, they're going for it. But to me, outside of that, what's his character?
I mean, I feel like his character is pretty.
He's Rhea's bitch. That's it.
Yeah, that's a good character. He's a
You
good
can
character.
find.
His character is he's a whiny boy who rebelled against his dad and all of his dad's prestige and money, went to jail, came out a new man, and found a hot chick to like take care of him and to continue to baby him because he can't be around his dad anymore. That's a good
You
character.
have him right now. He pops up randomly on SmackDown. He's on Raw for 3 fucking hours, and he's on fucking NXT.
I don't think he should be
That
around that much.
exactly. So my thing is, you telling me, and Cedric Alexander is what they call a free agent. He's not signed to a roster. You telling me you can't find 10 to 15 minutes to put him somewhere?
But that's different roles.
For me, as underrated. That's how I look at it in the WWE way.
I
Like,
don't think Dominic Mysterio is taking up Cedric Alexander's time.
no, but I wouldn't say it like that. I feel like it could be allocated different.
Like I feel like more like if you were going to pick an example, even from that group, Jordan Devlin would be the better example. Did you see the picture of him this week of him? They're all holding like titles and
yeah, he's just like
on the side.
Yeah. I mean,
that's another person
like
I'm saying is like properly rated.
Or okay, if I had to look at the indies in someone, or just like independent wrestling, I would say, is it Darius? I always love Darius Lockhart. I don't know if I want to say he's underrated because he's been injured for so long, and I know he's starting his new promotion. I felt for. I was like, would I put Darius Lockhart as someone that's underrated?
Yeah. No. Were you going to throw a name out there?
I was thinking Darius Lockhart first. He's the first name that came to mind. Because I loved him in NWA. Like, to be honest, that's the only time I've ever paid attention to NWA.
Well, like, I haven't watched much of Lockhart. I can't really comment.
I just love his his video packages and everything that he directs and puts together himself. I think I love that. Him in the ring, I think, is amazing. But I can't say that because he's had an injury this past year, so I don't want to say underrated, but I kind of feel that way. Yeah. I kind of do feel Willow is. I just always, like, from when I first saw Willow, to me, it was just like, oh, she's a star. Okay, like, she's like,
really.
She's entirely a star, but I feel like it's kind of different when I look at her, because I feel like Trish Adora, I might put more as like underrated.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, because Trish Adora to me is just like, I've never seen a bad match.
Theme that's popped up in all of our answers.
I didn't want to say it. I want to say it. Like,
on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. Like, I seen Trish Adora hint at her and Julia for the New Japan Strong Women's title, which I am all the way for. Give me that, please, and thank you. Sure. I think it might happen at their next show, which is in Texas in November, which I would be 1,000% for. What the fuck? Somebody randomly just text my number. Yeah, I think Trish Adora is one. I think Trish Adora is somebody. You know who I feel is not really. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, I love Mustafa Ali, or I don't know what name he goes by now, but he's shown with those packages and everything that he put together, like that he released online, where it's just like, oh, you know how to build a character, you know how to cut promos. Like
I feel like I don't know enough about Mustafa Ali to like give an answer.
I felt like one of the cool things when they did that 2016 set brand split, and he was getting a run, was those like kind of like real genuine like promos where he would talk about being a police officer in Chicago and things of that nature and talk. I thought that was really good, and that he was really shooting those, and I love the authentic nature of it. And I felt like he was really building positivity. I loved the character he made when he first announced that he requested his release, and he put out the video of the character he created that they kind of shot down because they felt like it'd be too controversial. And I was just like, he can build a character.
I think in NXT too, he was even building a good character.
And they just Like I feel like him. I'm very interested to see what he does next.
Well, it's I guess in the realm of Mustafa Ali, I think it's like it's also interesting with what happens when these guys who we call underrated get their moments, and then like we see
Yeah,
why they were like Kofi Kingston. I think is a really good example because like
yeah.
Kofi Kingston got his moment, and it was an incredible moment. I want nothing of it changed. For
Follow
clarity,
through. The follow through is shit.
he's not the best wrestler. He's very good.
Mm.
Like he's probably best suited in the role WWE has always had him in. And wrestling exists outside of especially WWE wrestling outside of the like match by match basis. So
Right.
like two things can be true. Kofi Kingston was the perfect person to win that championship at that time, and also there's a reason he went right back to where he had always been.
I think my pushback with that is when I look at the booking of his title reigns, right? I don't think it says much when your first challenger is Dolph Ziggler.
That's like everybody's first challenger though for the most
Yeah,
part.
but in
That's like
20 in,
everybody's first challenger.
but
The warm up.
at that time it was a sour note. Like to me, you could have just gone straight into the Randy feud to cut like you could have just to me, if you go straight into him and Randy and their history, is a little bit more hotter than him and Ziggler. Because I think the thing was, don't matter what at that time, Randy's Randy. Randy is fucking Randy. He
Yeah,
just came off
no,
of
that's
beating
true.
A. Didn't he beat AJ at that fucking Mania? At
Yep.
the same Mania. So it's just like two hot people who just won. You and me have a history. We could have booked that straight out the gate, and that could have been a lot warmer. And you could have built other people for feuds down that line. Like I never got how Mustafa Ali never had a heel turn to say you stole my moment, and
Yeah.
it kind
No,
of makes sense. You know, like you could have done that. That he did him and Brian even have a rematch?
no.
Like so you had options there to make him someone you care about,
Yeah.
and they just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So that's the issue where it's just like depending on where these people go, sometimes they go into places where they don't capitalize it, or they're in places where they don't capitalize it. Like
It's fair.
that's my thing when I look at it. Because to me, like Cedric Alexander, like I didn't understand how we're not gonna look at Cedric Alexander. Like to me, he was like the young boy coming up in the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of looked at him.
I didn't even see
Like
him as the young boy. He was just the, he was, well, I guess he was the youngest one. He was the cruiser of the group. Like
right,
some groups have heaters, some groups have like the fast cruiserweight guy.
and you could have set him up as like, all right, yo, Bobby's gonna get his run, but we're gonna set you up for your run when your time comes. And you
Yeah.
could have just been showing that. And I feel like when they broke up the Hurt Business, it was just for no purpose.
We
It
can't
was
we
just
can't go down this rabbit hole of mystical
no, that's not.
purpose.
It's not.
I'll
I'm
throw
already looking at the
one
time.
I'll throw
I'm just
one
like,
name out there
mm-hmm.
who's not a person of color, so this isn't totally sad. Have you
You make
watched
me feel
Alex
happy.
Hammerstone at all?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Alex
Ooh,
Hammerstone,
I
underrated.
like him. I
Even though
him
he's
and
champion of MLW, which is a terrible promotion. Who
he's
puts
not
on
anymore.
no? Well, I'm not
Yeah.
anymore because he requested his release, which is why he's on my mind. But he was champion of MLW for a long time, which is a terrible promotion. Which puts on bad shows that you shouldn't go to, and you shouldn't even watch them for free on YouTube. I don't.
Oh, we're starting off episode 3 on that note. Your take of MLW because I want to know more because I've never heard about this. I've never heard about people's dislike for
I
MLW or anything like that.
I don't like the fact that they take up good wrestlers' time.
Mm.
Um, and like, people talk a lot about, it's an accusation that's been thrown at Impact for years about like certain indies, certain promotions just trying to be like WWE light, like they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
be like the AA version of WWE, and like no promotion is more guilty of that than MLW. And again, it's not a coincidence that like Court Bayer is right out of WWE.
Okay.
We'll push that aside until another time.
Yeah.
But Alex Hammerstone is an incredible wrestler who doesn't get his flowers, who on the interwebs doesn't get a lot of talk, which again is MLW's fault. Really got to let this go.
Kind of feel like Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu a little bit too. Like
Yeah,
because
no, I would take
Jacob
Jacob
Fatu,
Fatu as well. But Jacob Fatu is
he gets his
talked
like
about.
he gets his talk, but
Yeah,
I feel like when you think about Jacob Fatu, he should get more talk than he does because to be a man like that and do the shit he does is kind of like holy fuck. It's kind of like holy fuck. Like I seen him do the springboard moonsault to somebody who was being like gurneyed out, and I was just like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You know what's amazing too? He rarely misses from like the things
No,
I've seen.
bro.
I mean, but like here's the thing: I've watched much MLW because of all the reasons I stated before, and will state again in the future. But from like just singular Jacob Fatu matches, like he doesn't botch a lot, which for like a dude
No.
his size who does all of his stuff is impressive, and neither does Alex Hammerstone. Usually, body guys like the botch is almost a part of the performance, it's part of the bit, but they hit all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would like to see Alex Hammerstone get signed. I think he would do really well in Impact. I think he's tailor made for TNA.
They said they're not going to release him though, so
MLW said they're not going to release him.
they're not granting his release.
What? Like, who do they think they are? Like,
I think could they also release what is it the other two from the Samoan Hit Squad?
yeah, that's all that.
So I'm like, I guess they, I guess they're like,
name.
but I guess they're I guess Hammerstone they don't want to release because I guess
they're bleeding.
Pretty much.
They don't like Hammerstone is the one. Him and Fatu are the only recognizable names they have.
Yeah.
But Teddy Hart ain't coming out of jail anytime soon to come wrestle for them. Well, I guess he is out of jail, but I think even MLW knows enough to stay away from him now.
I would hope so. I know they lost their cruiserweight champion Myron Reed. He's a free agent now.
Myron Reed. Oh my God! You want to talk about an underrated?
Underrated?
Guy? Holy fuck! Myron Reed is the only good part of MLW shows that I've been to. Myron Reed has been the only good part of New York independent shows that I have been to. Like, and I'm saying there's plenty of other stuff good, but like the shitty shows I've been to,
yeah,
Myron Reed is on them. He always gets the crowd hot. I have been up on Myron Reed for so fucking long, and I don't know how he's not signed anywhere.
He just became
he can make good characters.
He just became a free agent, like I want to say a month or two ago, and he was just in AEW as an extra.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows?
I mean, there's just no room for these guys now.
No, that's the thing. I want to see him. I think he'll do great Impact for like that X division.
Yeah.
For right now,
yeah,
I
for
think
X division, that would be cool as part of their relaunch.
Yeah.
All right, we're at the 90-minute mark. Do you want to do our fantasy bookings and get the fuck out of here?
Give me a fantasy booking.
My fantasy booking for this week is going to be Malachi Black versus The Undertaker under Bloodsport rules, and where they can both break out their Muay Thai jiu-jitsu tendencies, styles, and you get the spooky bollocks as well.
Jack, what the fuck?
That's so good, bro.
No, you're not talking about current Mark Calloway. You're talking like in his prime, right?
I'm talking, I would say late era under. I'm talking about like
WrestleMania 25, 26, Taker?
23 when he was against Batista. Around there. When like, because that was probably one of the best striking based wrestlers we've ever seen. It was like there's primary offense. I mean, Michael Cole said it at the beginning of like every single one of his matches. He's the best striker in WWE history. And Malachi Black has a kickboxing style that I really like striking based wrestlers. I don't think there's enough of them. And I think them two together would make a really interesting style. I think their characters mesh well. And I think under the blood sport context of they have to grapple, and they're both huge Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu fans of they have to grapple and they have to throw strikes, would force a really interesting mesh of ideas about like what pro wrestling can do.
I can't wait to hear people hear this fucking fantasy match and be like, "What the fuck?" Because I tell you right now, the first thing I thought you meant was today Undertaker, who struggled
No.
to like his hip obviously struggled to get into the NXT ring, and you want me to watch him do Muay Thai? What
I
the
want
hell
to see
is
Malachi Black kick his
Malachi
hip
Black?
like 30 times. No, no, I'm talking. Yeah, usually when it
Ooh,
comes to these bookings, I'm talking about like their primes.
historical, yeah, okay.
Like for the historical wrestling, talking about their primes for like the Undertaker that last 20 years. So I will cite, what is it? Fourth stage Undertaker, WrestleMania 23.
Yeah. I have one. It's a 3-way ladder match. WCW Rey Mysterio Jr.
Okay. Lone
Ray,
Dark Mysterio.
Ray Phoenix
Good.
and Bandito.
Oh, that's hectic.
That's
That's like three luchador high flying guys who still all have their own very unique style.
And not just in any regular ladder match. I want it in the Lucha Underground film shot themed ladder match. I want that. Good. Listen, that would be amazing.
You're getting Bandito's strength, Rey Mysterio at like 120 pounds, but is most athletic.
Healthy knees. Healthy knees.
And Ray Phoenix, healthy, which is nice for Ray Phoenix. But Ray Phoenix, I would say he's the best wrestler out of the three of them. Yeah, that's really
cool. That's a tough question. Is he the best? Because that's kind of hard to say. Because I would argue WCW Rey Mysterio is the best.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
When you're right, you're right.
I appreciate that. So that's going to end today's episode. Jack, tell them where they can find you at.
Check me out at JackSimonMakes.com. I got my documentaries, my music videos. They're not my music videos. I'm a director, and my writing up there.
And you can find me, everything on my social media. It's Life of Dean. Make sure you leave a comment if you want to get inputs on anything that we said, even our fantasy bookings. Make sure you subscribe and share. We're going to see you guys next week. We're out.
Next week. Deuces.